they're sort of riding on the coattails of the kind of the trail that was already blazed by some of these companies, not just me. And then they're using that as an easy way to introduce a cheaper alternative into the marketplace, but not actually doing the due diligence to make the product a one-to-one clone.
Hi, my name's John Cordy, and I wanted to say Merry Christmas. For Christmas, Johan sent me this, which is amazing. a Squire standard Strat from about 2001. So you'll see more of this on the channel. I might do some mods to it. Jason sent me this Helix backpack. That's going to get used once I have a gig again in it. Thank you so much, Jason. My girlfriend Leanna bought me this reverb pedal. You'll hear that at the end of the video. Sounds pretty cool, and it's not a flanger, so that's all good. My good friend Jake bought me this, and that's not so good, is it? But in a way, I think it might be fine. So we'll see what happens with that. Yesterday I made a video about this pedal, which Mason from Vertex had done a video about clones on, and he essentially said that Nux had cloned his pedal, the Vertex Steel String, which turns out isn't true. Nux actually copied the Free the Tone String Slinger, but you could kind of see his point if you didn't look into it too deeply, given that it's using Dumble style knobs and Dumble style lettering. The key is that it's using Dumble style stuff, not Mason style stuff. So that brought up a few kind of comments on the channel about issues of ethics and stuff, and there seem to be a lot of people who don't really like what Mason has done in the past. And again, I'm not going to talk too much about any of that stuff. You can Google it if you want. I don't have too much of a take on it, except for, I guess there's different types of cloning, right? So for instance, you've got something like an Ibanez Tube Screamer TS10, difficult to get hold of now, and so for instance someone might want to clone one of them and bring that to the market. In my eyes, they're not making the TS10 anymore. That would kind of make sense. The other kind of scenarios that maybe you've got something like the Timmy, which was designed by Paul Cochran and is not that easy to get hold of, and there are Chinese equivalents of it, like the K-Line, it's called the K-Line something. Anyway, and you could get one of them for about like 20 quid or something. The Timmy version 3, I don't think it's that easy to get hold of at the moment, unless you buy one second hand, and generally they'll be kind of quite expensive compared to the new price. So those to me are like the types of cloning that I think people find sort of acceptable. So in a way, if you're gonna copy what is a boutique expensive pedal and make it out of cheaper parts and sell it for 20 quid or whatever it is that these Chinese pedals generally are, I think most people accept that that's the thing that happens. I think what people don't like is when someone rebadges an existing product and sells it for more when they haven't really added any actual value to it. Or something like the Freakish Blues thing, which was brought up in the comments, where apparently they just rehoused a Joyo Ultimate Drive and sold that for lots more money than they paid for it. I think that's an issue. Say for example someone found out that Lazy J, this is just a hypothetical by the way, but was just rebadging Fender Blues Juniors that are all built in China, for example. If that was found to be the case, I'd imagine most people would have a problem with it, especially those people that had bought one. I think that's where some of this kind of reputation is built up and people sort of are unwilling to trust certain manufacturers. This, for example, is made by a boutique company called Tate Effects in the UK. I bought this one off him at a Birmingham guitar show. It's a tube screamer essentially, but it's had some modifications. It's got a clean blend. I think this is the type of thing that people are expecting when they choose to go boutique. You're not expecting to buy like a straight rip-off necessarily, or you're expecting to buy an existing circuit, but either with improvements or with better components or something like that, not just rebadged stuff. If we go way back in the history of the guitar world, I think things like the Fender Bassman and the Marshall JTM 45 share circuitry, and so we can say that there's kind of a history of give and take in the guitar world, but I think that's not exactly what it is that people have a problem with, some of what has continued to happen. I don't know anything about circuits. This is stuff that I've read from people who actually get into PCBs and all that sort of stuff. As far as I'm aware, the actual Jack Orman Clean Boost shares no real similarities or any kind of heritage with a Dumble Steel String Singer. In that respect, Mason's just using that Dumble mystique and stuff to sell a pedal, which sounds remarkably like this clip, which I'm about to play, and I think it's this kind of hypocrisy, and people generally don't like hypocrisy. So, is there an ethical debate over cloning in general? Yes. Is there an ethical debate about whether we should necessarily be relying on Chinese manufacture for stuff? Does he have a claim to that style of design? Or is that someone else's? You know, it's just a font and a Dumble style knob, which was actually done before the steel string anyway. Just thought it was a kind of a fun little topic and bit of spirited debate, whatever. Hope you had a good Christmas. Cheers.
This where I may have some standing is in the court of public opinion. But the one thing I would say is that what Nux is doing in making these sorts of clones, and they're trying to create a resemblance in terms of the aesthetic of these products, but not necessarily, as I heard in comparing them, delivering on the sonic elements of the pedal. They're sort of riding on the coattails of the kind of the trail that was already blazed by some of these companies, not just me. And then they're using that as an easy way to introduce a cheaper alternative into the marketplace, but not actually doing the due diligence to make the product a one-to-one clone.